Once upon a time, in the heart of Ogidi, a serene village nestled among the rolling hills of Igbo land, lived an elder named Mazi Okafor, with grey hair and a wise demeanor. He was revered for his vast knowledge and often shared stories rich with wisdom. One day, as the villagers gathered around him, Mazi Okafor began to speak, his voice deep and calm. "My children, have you ever heard the saying, the grandsire DIGS, the father BIGS, and the son THIGS?" he asked, looking at the faces around him. The villagers exchanged puzzled glances, uncertain of what the old man meant. "What does that mean, Mazi Okafor?" a young man named Chibike finally asked, his brow furrowed in confusion. Mazi Okafor chuckled softly. "It is an old proverb, one that teaches us about the value of hard work, wisdom, and the importance of each generation playing its part. Let me tell you a story, and perhaps you will understand. Many years ago, when Ogidi was still a young and struggling village, my grandfather, Mazi Ikenna, was a young man full of strength and determination. The land was wide and untamed, and the villagers struggled to grow enough food to survive. But Mazi Ikenna was not deterred. He worked tirelessly from dawn until dusk, digging the hard earth with his bare hands, clearing the land and making it fertile. His backs ached and his hands were rough and calloused. But he never gave up. He knew that if he did not dig deep and work hard, the land would never yield its bounty. As the years passed, Mazi Ikenna's hard work began to pay off. The once barren land became fertile, and the crops grew tall and strong. The village began to prosper, and the more people came to settle in Ogidi. When Mazi Ikenna grew old, he passed the land on to my father, Mazi Udo. My father did not have to dig the hard earth as his father did, for the land was already fertile and ready for cultivation, but that did not mean his work was easy. Mazi Udo understood the value of what his father had done, and he worked just as hard to maintain and improve the land. He planted new crops, ensured the soil remained fertile, and built a strong foundation for our family. The village continued to thrive under his care, and the fields of Ogidi were known far and wide for their abundant harvests. And now, my children, we come to the present day. I am the son who digs, or rather, I am the one who reaps the benefits of the hard work and sacrifices made by my grandfather and father. I do not have to dig the hard earth, nor do I have to struggle as they did, but I must be wise in how I use what they have left behind. The land that my grandsire dug and my father bigged is now fertile and prosperous, but it is my responsibility to ensure that it remains so, not just for myself, but for future generations. I must be wise in my decisions, patience in my actions, and always remember the sacrifices that were made to bring us to where we are today. As Mazi Okafor finished his tale, the villagers sat in silence, reflecting on his words. They realized that wisdom is not just about knowing what to do, but also understanding the value of the work and the sacrifices that came before. The grandsire DIGS, the father BIGS, and the son THIGS Each generation plays its part in the story of life, and it is only through understanding and appreciating this that true wisdom can be found. And so, my dear villagers, Mazi Okafor said with a gentle smile, let us all strive to be wise in our actions and decisions. Let us remember the sacrifices of those who came before us and use what we have wisely. For wisdom is not just about knowledge, but about understanding, patience, and the willingness to learn from the past to build a better future. The villagers, young and old, nodded in agreement, feeling the weight of the wisdom that had been shared. They knew that the story Mazi Okafor had told was not just a tale of the past, but a lesson for the present and the future. As they left the village that evening, they carried with them a deeper understanding of what it truly meant to be wise. And so the proverb, the grandsire DIGS, the father BIGS, and the son THIGS became more than just words to the people of Ogidi. It became a guiding principle, a reminder of the importance of each generation's role in the continuous journey of life. Through hard work, wisdom, and the understanding of the sacrifices made by those who came before, they knew they could build a future that honored the past while preparing for what was yet to come. The story of Mazi Okafor, Mazi Ikenna, and Mazi Udo became a legend in Ogidi, passed down from generation to generation, teaching the children of the village the values of hard work, patience, and wisdom. And as the years went by, the village of Ogidi continued to thrive, a testament to the enduring wisdom of those who had come before. Years passed in Ogidi, and as time went on, the story of the grandsire who dug, the father who bigged, and the son who THIGGed was not just a memory, it became the very fabric of the village's culture. Each generation honored the lessons learned from Mazi Okafor's tale, ensuring that legacy of hard work, wisdom, and respect for the past was never lost. The fields of Ogidi flourished and the village grew prosperous. The people knew that their success was not merely the result of their current efforts, but also the fruits of the labor and wisdom of those who had come before them. One day, when Mazi Okafor was very old, he gathered the villagers around him for what they all knew would be his last story. His voice, though weak with age, still carried the weight of years of wisdom. "Remember, my children," he said, "wisdom is like seed of a great tree. It must be planted with care, nurtured with patience, and tended with diligence. And when it bears fruit, it must be shared with others, so that it may grow anew in the hearts of those who follow." With that, Mazi Okafor closed his eyes for the final time, his spirit at rest, knowing that the lessons he had shared would continue to guide the village of Ogidi for generations to come. And so, the legacy of the grandsire, the father, and the son lived on, not just in the fertile fields and bountiful harvests, but in the hearts and minds of the people of Ogidi, who understood that true wisdom is a gift to be cherished, nurtured, and passed down from generation to generation. The children of Ogidi grew up hearing the tale at every full moon, told by their elders around the glowing embers of the village fire. They learned that to be wise, one must not only reap the benefits of the past efforts, but also contribute to the legacy that would be passed down to their own children. One day, a young boy named Nnamdi, who had listened to the tale many times, asked his father, "Papa, how can I be wise as Mazi Okafor?" His father, smiling, replied, "Nnamdi, wisdom comes not from simply listening to stories, but from living them. Just as our forefathers walked the land and preserved its bounty, we too must work hard, be patient, and make decisions that honor the past and protect the future." Nnamdi nodded thoughtfully, the weight of his father's words sinking in. He realized that wisdom was not something one could inherit like the land or wealth. It was something earned through experience, hard work, and the understanding of the sacrifices made by those who came before us. And so, Nnamdi grew up to become a wise and respected man in Ogidi, just like Mazi Okafor. He passed the story on to his own children, ensuring that the lesson of the past would never be forgotten. As the villagers of Ogidi continued to live by the wisdom of their ancestors, their village flourished, the land remained fertile, their harvests bountiful, and their spirits high. And every time they gathered to hear the tale of the Grandsire, the father and the son, they were reminded that true wisdom is timeless, passed down from one generation to the next. As you have heard in today's tale, the path of life is paved with the choices we make and the wisdom we inherit from those who came before us. Remember, wisdom is not merely in knowing but in doing. It's in how we apply the lessons of the past to create a better future. Be patient, be thoughtful, and always consider the long-term consequences of our actions. The Grandsire dug the earth with purpose. The father built on that foundation, and the son learned to cultivate and preserve it. So too must we all remember and build upon the knowledge and efforts of our forefathers. Each of us has a role in the continuity of our community's legacy. Understand that your actions today will echo in the lives of those who follow. To truly be wise, one must think beyond oneself and embrace the collective good of the community. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the timeless wisdom of our people. If this story has touched your heart or sparkled a new understanding, don't keep it to yourself. Share this tale with your friends and family. Let's spread the lessons far and wide so that our heritage and values continue to inspire and guide others. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Folktales by Chuks for more stories that nourish the soul and enlighten the mind. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss a story. Until next time, stay wise, stay strong, and may the wisdom of our ancestors guide you always. Goodbye for now.